who all those entities are. Because they're all hidden from us. Nobody's going to tell us who they are unless we make the effort to find out, you know? And still, that doesn't mean that you can't engage those things, but it becomes a conscious act. So still, if I'm on the run somewhere and my stomach's been growling for hours and an A&W appears, I might go in there and have a burger, you know? My system can handle a certain amount of junk food. But I won't do it without knowing who A&W is, you know? They put $2.5 billion into the Central American War. They've got Indian blood all over them. They slaughtered all kinds of people so that they could get a burger to you for a nickel cheaper. They were behind the Salvadoran War, the Guatemalan War, you know. Slash and burn the jungle, turn cattle loose on it, eat all the nutrition off the land, turn it into burgers that you can sell cheaper in North America, and when the land dies, kill some more Indians, slash and burn some more forests. That's not what we're, you know, on this hand, we're told they're busy fighting communists down there. You know, they have nothing to do with that. That same bloodbath that we're uncovering from the past is alive and well everywhere in the world today. And we don't have to wander around feeling guilty about it and messed up about it. We just have to be willing to make the effort according to whatever your guidance is to establish what the truth is in relation to whatever it is you do in your life. And we're going to go forward with that. And that's been real exciting to me to see all the people here making efforts on behalf of unraveling these pieces of the puzzle. Except sometimes I worry that we won't get humble enough as a people to bring the rest of the world into that picture. Because we're always tending towards assuming that we're the ones who know what's up. And because it's new information to us, it's a discovery. All the stuff that's going on with genetics and DNA, which to us is all new stuff. Well, to the medicine men and the sorcerers of countless centuries, that's ancient history. 1,000 years ago, all they needed was one of your skin flakes to get your DNA print. And then from the good side or the bad side of medicine and sorcery, I could then get to you from another dimension just by having your DNA print. There's so many things that have stayed out of our view. You go into some cultures' homes and they freak out because there's a spider web there. And from our arrogant point of view, they're a bunch of superstitious jerks who are uptight about spiders. You know? Any spider web in your home is loaded with your DNA prints. Your skin flakes are going to be in there. Somebody wants your DNA print, they just get a spider web out of your house. People have had understandings of those things for centuries already. And we come onto it like it's new stuff. And we're the big turkey who now knows about it, you know. But where's the place where we can get all of that, glean all of the effort, all of the blood that's been spilled through all that effort to get it to where it's all in the room, looking at the same thing together? Because all those other cultures and other ways have something to bring. They have a contribution to make to that picture. And the exciting thing to me is that the so-called white people, when I come here, I realize that they actually have a gift to bring. Because from that indigenous point of view, they're the ones who have been in question for a long time. One of the ceremonial ways that I was trained in has a story that goes with it. There's quite often a migration story. Try and do a short version, but from the center where life began from, each color of man was sent in the 4 directions. And the way we build our sweat lodge, it has 4 concentric rings that when you see it from above, it's like 4 rings within each other and 4 roads leading out from the vertical poles that converge. So the map that it makes is the migration pattern for the 4 colors who went out from there. And the people I learned it from always talked about the yellow man who had the eastern road, and then those 4 circles were the 4 stopping places where he stopped and looked back to Creator to say, are you sure you want me to go this way? And was told, yes, this road was made for you, but because you stopped and looked back and had that care, I give you a gift to take on that migration. And so they describe the yellow man, the black man, and the red man, and their 4 gifts. And then they'd come to the north doorway, which was the white man's road. And everybody just sort of looked in that direction and scratched their head. Go, that guy, we don't know what happened to him. He just kind of split. Just sort of a big question mark, you know. So I'm sure originally it unfolded in the same way. We have those gifts to bring back to that circle of life. But we might benefit from realizing that in that path of return to where life begins from, some of the other peoples on this earth have actually completed that migration, and they're sitting back there waiting for us to come in, to come back from the journey that we've been on and deliver the gifts so that the circle of life can come back together again. And this thing that we have feeding on us might just be banished. Another school that I spent time in, one of their favorite sayings was, everything eats and everything shits. And that means we're all food on some level. And in a multidimensional reality, then what you do, I'll stay with me, what I do with my thoughts and my feelings is the dinner I'm cooking for whatever entities I feed. And so the world I was born in taught me to cook gourmet meals of fear and anxiety and serve them to those entities. And so the entities that feed on fear and anxiety are the ones who are thriving because they're the ones who get fed. It might be possible that if we all understood the ways in which we are food and how to feed, that if we all cooked the right dinner for the highest thing, when it came to dinner, all the rest would disappear. Because as far as I understand, that multidimensional universe is law conformable, just like everything else that we've dismantled. It all conforms to law. And so in some of the doctoring and healing work that I've been blessed to be part of, sometimes all it takes when someone is being ridden by an entity is to simply open the door to manifest a senior presence, and by law, not by accident or hit and miss, just by law, the entity that's killing that person is banished. It can't not be. In the esoteric Christian schools, that's the interpretation of the second coming. The moment the heart of man serves up a gourmet dinner for the Christ consciousness, all the lesser entities by law aren't on the planet anymore. They're only here because we feed them. And they've sort of had their hand in arranging for good food, too. It's not like they don't look after themselves. Um, everything eats. There's, I scratched out a bunch of notes here, but I just, there's so much that I've missed in my life. There's so much wealth to be had from other cultures and from our own elders. Every person in this room that's older than me, on one level, knows something that I don't know. The old people, the young people, there's just so much that we could open the door for. I've been really blessed to know some really old folks. My adopted dad in the Tewa people, his most common favorite saying was, "Be careful." There was always a gap in there. Be full of care. Don't be afraid to mistake. Say that over and over again. And in the ceremonial ways, I mean, I was the kid. I'd get on the kid's case. I would get accused of hiding out because I was afraid to make a mistake. And old people have a way of just being real clear, saying if all you do is hide out, you're never going to learn anything. The way you're going to learn something is to get up and make an asshole of yourself. And when you're done, you'll be wiser. And so in a way, through that fear and so on, we've become afraid to engage the substance of life because we might make a mistake. But then we end up growing old and not knowing much because we've never actually engaged it. We haven't lived. We've been hiding out and not learning from the doing. So that's a piece of what wanted to come out of me from everything that I've taken in being here. There's a whole bunch more, but I can't quite rope it in, and get it here because I'm still soaking it up. But it's been a big question for me when, for example, this is a good one. And I wonder about this a lot, like what's starting to happen here. And it's a phenomena that has occurred in history, and it's always remained a question for me. I experienced it in the 60s with what happened to me, where I was just a kid going to school with high marks and on a track going that way. And something happened, and I don't know whether it's some kind of alignment between history and timing and necessity and what all the ingredients are. But whatever that spontaneous thing that happened in the 60s, it plucked me out of a little town in the middle of nowhere and changed the entire direction of my life. And at other times in history, there's been the Christian thing where in no time at all, people were willing to be fed to lions on behalf of what they understood. And it wasn't because somebody published a book and put it out there. It jumped from one person to the next. Is there a critical mass point at which the understandings that are being established here just start to jump from person to person? in such a way that there's enough of us who are willing to just say no to it all, that it changes. Do we have enough will and guts left in us to look at that even? Or we all want to stay home and watch the other guy do it on TV. Sounds a whole lot safer. For me, those are tough questions. So maybe, I don't know, if people got questions, I could stop and go in that direction anytime. Usually what I talk about is self-reliance and whatnot, but it's all interconnected. This is just the inner side of my self-reliance and the things that I contemplate in relation to that. How can I be my own person and stand on my own 2 feet and be free and mean what I say and be trusted and make relations that way, so that what I do with my life is trustworthy. You know, there's one example. Go ahead.
Can you take the questions?
Sure.
Hello. You had made reference to the golden rule.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I had heard a little while ago was what was called the platinum rule. I don't know if you're familiar with the platinum rule.
No.
Okay.
We have it.
And I see sort of a move in that direction here, interestingly enough. The golden rule, of course, is do unto others as they would, you would have them do unto you. The platinum rule says do unto others as they would wish you to do unto them, which involves the golden rule is more of a selfism thing. This is what I want, so therefore I'm going to do
Must be
that.
what you want too.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, it takes it a step further. Yeah. Sure, I'll take that home. It's just get home and like, oh wow, what am I gonna do with all this?
Say it back.
Hmm?
Say it back to us, the platinum rule.
Do unto others as they would wish you to do unto them. So it's a nice taking it a step further. You know? Yeah, it's a good one.